Welcome back to the road to Zack Snyder's Justice League. Oh man, I'm so excited. I know I'm not selling it, but that's because I'm kind of tired. But I am extremely excited for this movie. On the day that this is coming out, it'll be 6 days till the movie comes out, and I can't wait. I really can't. I'm just 4 hours of Justice League. So of course, last week we talked about and this week, we are talking about Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice Ultimate Edition. Or for short, Dawn of Justice. Or Dawn of Justice. Anyway, where should we start? Well, I don't really know where to start with this movie, because it really is quite a good film. So, we should probably just start with the problems that people have with this movie. Now, I get some of the problems, like Lex Luthor. I mean, you know, he... unconditional, his plan is convoluted, and it does rely quite a bit on coincidence. Also, one of my problems was the fight between Batman and Superman was... It was boring, to say the least. It was pretty boring. I mean, you know, especially because we were expecting like a 45-minute fight between these two, but we only got like 8 minutes of the fight. But then, you know, kind of pays us back with the whole Batman warehouse fight scene, and that was awesome. So, Henry Cavill's Superman is great in this movie. I don't like how people are mad at how depressed he is, because it actually makes a lot of sense. I mean, he's still trying to figure out what he's supposed to do, you know. And the world is trying to figure out what he's supposed to do, the government. And that's kind of a really great part about this movie is, you know, there's consequences to these people's actions, to these heroes' actions. And especially Superman's, because, you know, he's the most powerful being on the planet. So it makes sense for him to be down and all that. And there's some really great stuff with him. And then we go into Batman, which... I freaking love Batman in this film. So much. He's awesome. Now, I get the whole killing thing, but that's the point. The point is he's not Batman anymore. That's literally the point. And Ben Affleck is fantastic as Bruce Wayne and Batman. I mean, he really sold it. It was amazing. Soundtrack, of course, is great. Alfred is great. Jesse Eisenberg's performance as Lex Luthor, whether you like the character or not, his performance was fantastic. There's this part where he goes, I love it so much for some reason. It's hilarious and it's dumb, but it's one of those things where it's just, you kind of love it or hate it from the film, and I'm one of those people that just love that part from the film. I don't know why. I just find it hilarious. The cinematography, it's great. I wouldn't say it's as good as Man of Steel's, but I still really like it. Lois Lane is a lot more interesting of a character in this movie than Man of Steel. I liked her a lot more in this movie, and I'm hoping that she's even more interesting in Justice League. But at the same time, I hope that there's less of her, even though the whole thing seems to revolve around her a lot, you know. And yeah, Wonder Woman. Everything about Wonder Woman in this movie is amazing. She is a badass. She's amazing. She's awesome. She's great. Gal Gadot, I freaking love her. Much better than Wonder Woman 84. The dialogue in this film is much better than Man of Steel's. Man of Steel's, there's some really cringy dialogue for me in that movie. And then this one, I feel it's quite kind of Shakespearean, honestly. Like, so falls the House of Wayne. You know, the way that Alfred talks, the way that Batman talks, you know, it's very interesting, the wordings that Terrio and David S. Goyer use in the screenplay for this film. I like it a lot. I think that it makes the movie more intriguing and more interesting. There's some great lines, like when a lot of great lines from Alfred, like Alfred, like when he's talking about Batman becoming more and more grim, you know, that's how it starts, the fever, the rage, you know. Batman, oh, I love the moment where Bruce Wayne, is talking about what the generation of the Waynes are from, and then he says the first generation. He was like talking about the first generation. He goes, they were hunters, and then it has this kind of sub theme where it's like boom, and it's just awesome. And then Alfred's like, so falls the house of Wayne, which I think I already brought up. Whoops. Yeah, I really love this movie. It is my favorite comic book movie. I know it's not the greatest in the world. It's quite hated by a lot, and it's quite loved by a lot. You know, it's very close to being a masterpiece, but it's also very far from being a masterpiece. That's not my quote. That's Sean Chandler's quote from Sean Chandler Talks About. I will put his YouTube channel in the description. I very much so recommend you check him out. He's a great film critic. I'd definitely say it's closer to being a masterpiece than it is to being not a masterpiece, to being awful. There's a lot of great stuff. There's a lot of good symbolism. There's a lot of great themes. A lot of people complain about the tone of this movie and say that it's too gritty. I've never found it too gritty, but I can kind of see where people are coming from, especially when Batman's branding people and, you know, Superman, you know, stands in a blown up courthouse thingy. Capitol, I guess. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. It's pretty dark. I love Batman's intro, the first scene for Batman. And I love the beginning scene too. I mean, pretty much, well, I love the whole movie. There's Bruce Wayne running through Metropolis. There's the beginning scene of the Wayne parents being killed, which people hate even though it's like a few minutes long. There's definitely the scene where Batman's introduced. I think it's just done perfectly. It makes Batman scary. Like, the cops are freaking terrified of him. The cops are terrified. It's awesome. And the music to it is awesome. It's great. Hans Zimmer and Junkie XL's soundtrack to this, I love it so much. Every single piece. I like it better than Man of Steel. Some people would probably put Man of Steel above Batman v Superman. I would put Batman v Superman above Man of Steel, because I feel like it actually improves upon Man of Steel's, because it has a lot of Man of Steel's music stuff. Sorry, I'm at my dad's. I'm just getting distracted because stuff. We should probably talk about the problem. I can get why people don't understand the Martha situation, but it's already been explained. I'm not going to explain it. It makes sense to me. You can figure it out for yourself, or you can watch someone explain it for you. But I still understand why people are confused by it, but it's really not something that would make this movie the worst comic book movie in the world. I don't understand that. Doomsday, it makes no sense for people to complain about Doomsday. I mean, if you don't really like the way he looks, fine. But there are so many different versions of Doomsday, and you have to complain about this one. That's what I hate about the critiques on this movie. They're so nitpicky. Like, they're very nitpicky, and then you look at Marvel films, and they're praised even though they're just, it's weird to me how you can be so nitpicky with one film and then, you know, love another film for having a Mary Sue of a character. Sorry, backed into a rant. There's not much more I have to say about this film. I love this film. I'd give it a 7 out of 10, maybe 7.5 out of 10. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I could really use it. Thank you for watching. Next week, of course, we are going to be talking. Oh, this is exciting. We're going to be talking about Zimmer.